The conversation about tonight's show is just beginning. Of course, we want to hear from you. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram at AMC Talking Dead, or just go to our Facebook page. But for tonight, please welcome Josh McDermitt, Paola Lázaro, and Khary Payton's robe. Paola, thank you so much for being here. It is a pleasure to welcome you to the show. You were phenomenal as Princess in this episode. I really, really, really enjoyed watching you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
So just some reactions from around the internet, Paola. People loving Princess, Mama Deadhead on Twitter, Paola's perfection. I feel so lucky that we have her. I see that Whisk Bartender on Twitter says, totally nailed Princess. This reminds me of the excitement of seeing Michonne for the first time. Navy Navajo Girl 1, I think Princess came at the right time considering we need something uplifting after all the doom and gloom. A little bit of quirkiness is truly needed. Well, you obviously knocked that out of the park, because what's so great about the characters, that I know it's a character that people were excited to see who were fans of the comics, but also, like, you gave her such a great, charming quirkiness of someone who has probably been alone for a year, and the speech that you gave was so incredible. Can you talk about the delivering of that speech and, you know, where she talks about being alone for so long?
I will never forget that day, and I was so scared and emotional, and because I wanted to do it justice. And that day for me, it was just very vulnerable, and there was this energy. It was raining all day, and all of a sudden Laura, the director, said action, and the rain just started coming down even harder, and I just felt this energy between the four of us, the actors, that was like, let's go get it, let's do it. And with that support, it just ended up being one of the most beautiful days of my life.
Khary, why do you think Ezekiel was so compassionate toward Princess from the get-go?
I think Princess is right up Ezekiel's alley, honestly. You know, I mean, he's a bit of a quirky fella himself, and I think that he gravitates to those kinds of people. And I mean, honestly, you know, she's this brightly colored, you know, energetic thing in the middle of this dark and bleak world. You know, she's kind of like another tiger on the road. You know what I mean? She doesn't have claws, but she got a big ass gun. You know, she's bright, brilliant, and unique. And I think that he has a lot of experience dealing with that kind of personality. So I think that he immediately understood her in a way that maybe most people don't.
Let's turn to Josh for a second and talk about Eugene finding love in the apocalypse. Can you talk a little about your initial reaction to Eugene basically starting the Hilltop AV Club and then ultimately potentially finding a girlfriend?
It's like apocalyptic Tinder, you know? It's like, you know, here this guy who's having a hard time finding love has somehow found a way to find love on the internet of the apocalypse. You know, obviously it's a story from the comics, and you know, it's exciting because it's something that's going to open up, you know, our world and kind of drive that story forward. And I'm excited to see what that does for him and what that does for our communities. And you know, just more in the bigger picture of it. But you know, Eugene is not the only one affected by this. You know, some of these other communities are, you know, they're basically on a lifeline right now. Like, they weren't doing too hot before they met the Whisperers, you know, and so I think he's hoping that this is a good thing. Like, he has very high hopes for this.
Just some reactions from people around the internet. October Dragonfly on Twitter says, is anyone else getting catfish vibes for Eugene and the Stephanie thing? Blissfully Freed on Twitter said, Eugene and Stephanie are so much more interesting than 90 Day Fiance. Photo by Beans on Twitter says, Eugene and his radio boo Stephanie were Love is Blind before it premiered on Netflix. So what do you want to say to people who think that Eugene is getting catfished?
I know we have the, you know, the comics, and people think that, you know, this is that or whatever, but it's like, the fact is we don't know. And so Eugene is just coming out and saying, look, I have a feeling, like I have a twinge in my belly, and that's not just the burrito I ate earlier. I feel strongly about this, and I have a lot of hope. And so I want to offer up more information to you in hopes of kind of building this. But it is very, very scary, and it's a delicate situation. She kind of got scared at one point when Rosita came in and grabbed the radio, because he had a promise with Stephanie of like, I'm not going to tell anybody about this. And that almost scared her away, which could have been part of the con. I don't know. He might be in the middle of being catfished. We have no idea. And that's what I'm most excited about seeing, is how this all plays out, not just for him, but for the world in the bigger picture.
I worry that Stephanie has refused to video chat.
Well,
I am very worried.
Of course, Eugene is the character who's like, guys, I totally have a girlfriend. She just lives, she lives in Canada. It's like, so,
yes.
I have a girlfriend, but she lives somewhere else. You haven't met her, but I swear I totally have a girlfriend. We talk on the phone all the time. Coming up, we have interviews from the cast, from the set, and plus, we're going to be showing you the first few minutes of what happens next on The Walking Dead. It is an extended sneak peek that you will not want to miss. But first, before you take the scenic route through an active minefield, let's slow things down and say a final farewell to all those we've lost tonight.
Following the attack on Hilltop, they reconvened at the rendezvous point, and clearly things have happened. A little bit of time has passed, and they've come up with a plan, and we don't necessarily know what that plan is. You definitely get the sense that they're preparing for an attack to come. They know it's coming, and how can they solve the problem of this giant horde? Beta is one thing. He's one man. Those thousands of walkers are a whole different deal, and a lot were killed in the fire at Hilltop, but he still has a bunch, and as we saw in a previous episode, he's gathering even more. So we're seeing them work together. We're clear that they have some sort of plan, but there's still that fear. There's still the knowledge that this is tricky, and that once again, maybe not everyone's gonna get out alive.
Welcome back to Talking Dead Home Edition. That was Denise Huth on the severity of Beta's pending attack. We're back with Josh McDermitt, Khary Payton, and Paola Lázaro. Khary Payton, wonderful to see you and your robe. I love that you're wearing. Is that like, are you full robe?
I am full robe. I am full robe. I have only worn this for the past 3 days. It's amazing. It's amazing. I think 3 more days and I will be full Jedi.
Khary Wan Kenobi. I love it. I love it.
I love it too. I'm getting that monogrammed on my robe.
Josh, did you do anything special to welcome Paola to the show?
And she's great. We have a few mutual friends, so I called around and asked, I vetted her I called and asked what she was like, and everyone was like, dude, she's great. You guys are going to have a great time. And she shows up, and, you know, they were right. I was really excited to have her there because, you know, kind of the tone that Andrew Lincoln set was that, you know, he makes this all about the story. He doesn't put himself first, and he is always down to talk about the characters and the story and, you know, the metaphors that are coming out of the scripts and that sort of thing. And Paola's a playwright, and she's always down to talk about that stuff. And so I just think that having her there, where she's down to rehearse in between takes, and while we're, you know, she's just not on her phone off, you know, away from everybody, doing in her own world. And I think that's great. And I would, you know, even though she didn't get to work with Andrew Lincoln, she definitely, he would have been a big fan of her. He's always pointing at people, and he would, you know, his finger, Lincoln's finger, would be like, yes, he's great. You know, I just imagined him saying that about her. You know, it's really what I appreciate about her is that, you know, we're all shooting this show, we're all in this together, and it's tough, but she's down to play, and she's awesome.
Paola, can you talk about your first big action scene shooting with exploding landmines?
Oh, sorry. Yo, that was so dope. I'm a very nervous person. Like I'll jump, you know, pretty easily. But the guy on set was like, he said, "Hey guys, don't worry about it. It's just gonna be a poof of air." So everybody's like, "Bet, okay, we know what a poof of air sounds like. Cool, we hear it all the time. Great." So I'm like, yeah. So he's like, "Does anybody need earplugs?" And everybody's like, "Nah, it's a poof of air." So we do the beginning of the scene, bam, bam, bam. We're walking, we're saying lines. I get to my spot. I throw the canteen. Boom! I jump 10 feet into Khary and Josh's arms, basically, who I just had met. I had just met. I jump into Khary and Josh's arms, and I curse in Spanish, and I say, "Anda my," which is a very Puerto Rican thing to say. And so it just went boom, "Anda my," and they didn't say cut. So I'm like, okay, I'm new to this show. They haven't said cut. Just stay in the moment, Paola. Stay in the moment. So I stay in the moment, and I go back to my little position. I'm like, yeah, I'm an actor. I'm serious. So I go back to the position, and I go and I turn around to say my line, and these guys are busting laughing without really showing the camera. So they're like, and I'm like, so I say my line, we start laughing, nobody says cut. I go back to my little position. I'm like, actor, serious actor. I'm not gonna laugh. No, this is my chance. I turn around, just laughter until they had to say cut. And we got earplugs after that. Thank you very much.
I am still crying. I'm still crying from laughter. I have never seen somebody move so fast, so quickly. I swear to God, she jumped in my pocket like a baby kangaroo. It was hilarious. Oh my God, I would never forget it. And I have loved her before, but I loved her even more after that. Oh my God.
That's incredible, and I think it's sort of a lens to the camaraderie of the group on the show. But coming up, we have an extended sneak peek of the first few minutes of what happens next on Walking Dead. And then also want to remind you, Ride with Norman Reedus is on later tonight, so make sure and check that out. We're going to be right back on Talking Dead Home Edition. Welcome back to Talking Dead Home Edition. I'm here with Josh McDermitt, Paola Lázaro, and Khary Payton. Okay, Khary, more fun horse riding or bike riding?
Man, you know what? That's really hard for me because I was working really hard for a very long time to be able to master this horse riding thing. I had gotten pretty good at it. They gave me, you know, the most difficult horse to ride. He was a little bitch, and I loved him to death. He was finally not trying to buck me off of him anymore. I was, you know, feeling really good about it. But they did give me like a custom bicycle. This thing had like hydraulics on the back that it was like a low rider, man. If I had music, it'd be like dun, 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 dun. So that's pretty hard, man. Honestly, I'm just pissed that they didn't let me take the bike. They never let me take anything. I just want to put my bike in my pocket, along with Paola, my little kangaroo, who jumped in my pocket with the bicycle. Just want to take everything home with me.
That's why you just have to take the bicycle next time. Don't ask. You just take the bicycle. By the way, I just wanted to give Eugene some props for something which totally flew by. I don't know if most other people picked up on it. This could not have been accidental. It's when Ezekiel says, you know, we can look for our horses tomorrow, whatever he says. And then Eugene says, I hate to be the naysayer. And you guys just flew past it so fast. And I'm like, that was not an accident. That was clearly a magnificent horse pun that Eugene totally would have dropped on the group.
Are incredible. Julia Ruckman, Kevin Diebold, who wrote this episode. I mean, there's a lot of gems in there, and that's got to be towards the top of the list.
I just wish Eugene would have said, You know, right after that would have been perfect.
Yeah. Just turn to the camera, guys. This is
on a feed bag and just starts eating oats.
This is from It's Just Katya on Twitter. Paola, how did it feel when you saw your princess outfit for the first time?
Oh my God. It was like I was 6 years old and all my dreams were coming true. It was all of it. It just felt powerful, but it also felt really vulnerable. And when I wore the costume for the first time, I don't even call it a costume, I call it my suit. And I also call the jacket the sofa because it's like putting a fluffy sofa on. But when I put the sofa on and the suit, I realized that this is real and that I'm going to work really hard for it. So that's why it felt vulnerable too.
Josh, what does it say about Eugene that he sees himself in Princess?
What he was doing with, you know, Rosita and Abraham and the others about, you know, just kind of lying and stalling, you know, kind of prolonging and keeping everyone from reaching the destination, because he knew what that meant. He knew that it went back to being alone. And, you know, we saw that with Virgil and Michonne a couple episodes ago too, the stalling and the lying. And it's like, you know, these people are hardly the first people to do that, or, you know, to deploy that tactic, but he sees that in her, you know, that he had himself. And they kind of have a unique bond over that, because, you know, it's just a basic, you know, human thing to just want to stay alive and to be around people. And so, you know, he obviously sees that in her, and it's kind of sweet, but then also, you know, what I kind of loved about it is at the end, you know, Eugene still got back to business, and he was like, wait, but you do know where those wheels are, right? Like, he's like, look, we have this connection here, but you're not lying about the wheels, right? You know, like, don't make me go feral on you, because I will unleash the mullet, and you can never have enough mullet.
Well, I sort of appreciate that the nerds kind of recognize each other in the wild. You know what I mean? That Eugene is like, I know how you feel. I felt all those same things, and we have different approaches, but the connection that we have is that we're always we want to be a part of something. We want to feel a part of something. So it is really beautiful that they all find each other. But I wanted to ask, this is for Khary from Dandro27 on Instagram. Khary, where is King Ezekiel's mindset right now after everything he's gone through?
You know, you get into an apocalypse, you think that zombies are going to be your biggest problem. You know, it turns out it's the other human beings around you who are losing their minds. You think that you kind of forget that other things like cancer still exist. You know, you think it's zombies, you think it's people. It turns out you got cancer. You're taking a road to nowhere, just looking for answers, looking for something, and lo and behold, you get to this place where somebody's truly taken this world and made it absurd. You know, that she's built these dioramas that that have no rhyme or reason. I just love that he just lets it all out. You just got to laugh at it because nothing makes sense anymore. Nobody, you always say that tomorrow's not promised to any of us, right? And truly, he has no idea where this world is going to take him. Because right now it's the Muppet Show zombie world, and he's laughing so hard he's crying. I kind of love it.
Well, yeah, and then also it just reminds us that in the darkest moments, you never know what light is around the corner, So,
Isn't that right?
Right?
And we need that now.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to reveal that tonight's code word is Harrisburg. So if you head over to twdrewards.com, you can redeem your points there. Coming up, we have more interviews from the set, including that extended exclusive sneak peek of what's coming up next on The Walking Dead. And now here's Kaylee Fleming on why Judith didn't tell Daryl the real reason Michonne left. We'll be right back on Talking Dead Home Edition.
When Judith tells Daryl her mom left, she kind of lets it all out. She kind of tells him why she's been so different lately and everything that's been happening. But I don't think she tells him about Rick because, Daryl and Rick are best friends. They're like brothers. And maybe if she did tell him that that's what she was going to go do, then maybe he would leave to go help her find him. And I don't think she wants him to leave because that's her uncle. That's all she has left.
The fans, I think, will love this moment. I think you can't go wrong with Daryl and Judith, and to see Daryl and Judith fighting and killing walkers and just being able to do it without a conversation, I think is fantastic.
Fight scenes are one of my favorites because they look so cool and they're just really different to shoot.
She definitely has some Michonne style to her, and you certainly see where Michonne influenced it. And I love this scene because Daryl's not worried about it at all. Like, she knows how to fight walkers and that she'll be fine.
I think it's a very unique relationship. I don't think she has a relationship like that with anybody else on the show because, that's her Uncle Daryl. He's been there since the beginning.
I love Norman and Kaylee's scenes. They have such a great bond and chemistry, and he's really sweet with her. It's a great dynamic, and it's a great new thing to see in Daryl's character after all these years, this fondness that he has for this little kid.
Welcome back to Talking Dead Home Edition. That was a behind-the-scenes look at when Daryl and Judith teamed up together in tonight's episode. We're back with Khary and Josh and Paola. So, Josh, as a fan, what were your thoughts on the scene between Judith and Daryl, which was an incredibly powerful scene?
I loved it. I don't want this to happen because I don't want to lose Norman and Kaylee, but I could just watch a spin-off show, like a 10-season series of just Daryl and Judith. No other characters. Like, it's so beautiful. And, I just love their interactions together. They both did such great work in that scene and anytime they're working together. And, I mean, it's interesting to see what Judith is going through right now. She's trying to do what's best and to step up and to help, but she also just killed her first person, that whisperer when there was the siege on the hilltop. And, she's doing a good job at keeping it together, but also the cracks are starting to form. And so I'm interested to see where this goes, but she's also reaching out to Daryl saying, like, I want to be like you because I know you've seen some crap and you can help me with this. And, you know, I also love that when she said, I want to do what you do, I want to help people and protect everyone. And I love that Daryl didn't say, no, I'm taking you home. Like he basically said, okay, this is what you do. And this is how you do it. And he takes her along. And I think that's beautiful. Just the interactions between the two of them are incredible. I could watch a spin-off, you know, of the two of them all day. No, maybe Eugene could be in that show, like in flashbacks.
I want to see what happens to Judith in like 20 years, because she's really, from her point of view, she's getting all this amazing training. Like she's getting the best bits of every character to mold into this like Voltron of badassery, of just like the tracking skills from Daryl and the fighting skills from Michonne, and, you know, just like different, she's piecing all these things together and sort of forming in this world. But speaking of connections, Khary, can you talk at all about shooting the scene where Ezekiel has to say goodbye to Jerry?
Oh man. You know, it's hard to talk about for me because I think that, I mean, this entire show has been a gift to me, and but I think the greatest gift that both Ezekiel and I were given was Cooper, Andrews, and Jerry. You know, because he wasn't in the comics. He wasn't really supposed to be there, you know, but they conjured this character out of the air because you know, they knew about Cooper, and they knew that he'd be a great fit. And he's been truly like a brother to me. And I don't know if that was the last goodbye. I don't like to think of it as a last goodbye, but people keep talking to me like it's the last goodbye, and it really starts to. I almost said the wrong word. It really starts to work on me emotionally, I guess would be the PC way of saying it.
You know what? When you're talking about Jerry, if you're passionate, you can drop the F-bomb. We'll just bleep it out.
It's with my dude. It's with my real bad.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the authenticity.
I'm barely keeping it together.
We love you, man. And honestly, I can't, the fact that Jerry has become like so much of the soul, like he's the soul of that storyline as well. The Sorcerer's Apprentice, who then comes into his own, but still just is all heart, you know? I mean, I cannot imagine this show without him and the two of you together. So I hope it is not the last time we see you two together. But Paola, how do you think Princess feels when it's Yumiko who asks her to join the group?
Man, I think it's one of the biggest moments in her life. I think that Princess has never felt like she belonged anywhere. Even, you know, when you read the comics and her background, her home life in the past. And when she says, you know, plainly, like, I've always been alone, even before the apocalypse. So for her to be welcomed by somebody is, I think it's the first time in her life that she's been welcomed. And I relate a lot to Princess right now because of quarantine, and to rejoin people must be a terrific feeling that I look forward to someday. And I think I can relate to Princess in that sense of that she's been alone for a year, and this is a dream come true to have this crew invite her to be part of her of their family, and to join them in a journey that who knows where they're going, but she's just excited. The whole point is like she belongs now for the first time in her life.
Thank you for that. Coming up next, we continue to break down this episode of The Walking Dead. Don't go anywhere. I mean, not just for us. Don't go anywhere for, you know, society. Welcome back to Talking Dead Home Edition. We're back with Khary and Josh and Paola. Paola, why do you think Princess was comfortable just handing over her gun to Eugene?
Listen, she sees something of herself in Eugene. She can tell that he's an outcast like her. And I think she's the one, I think she trusts Eugene the most. And I think he wouldn't kill her. Like, I think she knows, like, he wouldn't kill me. So it's going to be safe with him. It's her baby. It's going to be safe with him. And then the other two, you know, I can take them down, but I feel like Eugene would be like, okay, you took them down. Let's go. Let's go together. Let's go on the journey. Let's meet Stephanie. So I think Princess trusts Eugene. She's like, nah, you ain't going to kill me.
Warrior. He is vicious. He would take you down in a heartbeat.
I want to talk about Carol and Kelly for a sec, because I know that the thing that Kelly says about her superpower is something that Angel was told in real life. And so it is, to me, it was such a beautiful moment to be able to pull that in the show and say something that was so exactly what Carol needed to hear to accept who she is, and that these things that she thinks are her weaknesses are actually her superpower. That moment just clicked into place for me for so many reasons. Josh, were you on set when they shot that?
Paola was there too, and we got to see this scene, and it was so beautiful. Like, they'd already done a few takes, and Julia Ruckman, the writer who was on set, you know, asked if I was coming to watch, and she's like, just put these headphones on. Like, she didn't even tell me. I didn't know what scene they were shooting, to be honest, and I put the headphones on, and we watched this amazing scene between Melissa and Angel, and I just, at the end of it, I took the headphones off, and I turned around to Denise Huth and Julia, and I said, what the hell was that? Like, that was the best scene I've ever seen in my life. Like, I was sobbing. And it was so incredible, just like this pep talk about your weakness actually being your superpower. You know, there's a line like, she says, like, you know, you can't give up everything about yourself just because bad things happen. And I just thought that was so beautiful and can be applied to so many characters on this show, and even just people in general around the world. Like, that's everything right there. It was such an incredible scene.
Well, coming up, we have that super extended sneak peek of what happens next on The Walking Dead. We will be right back on Talking Dead Home Edition. Welcome back to Talking Dead Home Edition. We're back with Khary and Paola and Josh. And now it is time for you to see an extended sneak peek, the first few minutes of what happens next on Walking Dead. Here it is. Maggie is
Yeah, she's back.
There you go.
We knew it was going to happen, but it still is phenomenal to see. We have a caller. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Angela Kang from Los Angeles, and my question is, how's everyone doing?
Hey, we're good. Angela Kang, everyone.
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good. You know, me and my family, we're staying safe inside like everyone else, working from home. Thanks for asking. I hope all of you there and all the fans watching at home are staying safe as well.
Good. How is everyone on the Walking Dead production hanging in there?
Yeah, you know, everyone's hanging in. We're still in pre-production for season 11, and the writers' room has been working remotely. And you know, some of our key department heads are working on designs and all of that stuff behind the scenes. You know, our production was supposed to start in early May. That's when we usually start shooting, but we've obviously pushed back by several weeks. And you know, the safety of cast and crew is always the priority. And you know, we're all taking it day by day, just like everyone at home is that's watching as well. You know, and safety is also the reason that we pushed our episode 1016 to a later date. You know, post-production, which is, you know, editing, VFX, music, sound, color, all that good stuff that finishes an episode actually takes months to finish, and there's certain parts of the process that we couldn't do remotely, so we couldn't finish in time to air next week. But, you know, that said, we're really proud of the episode you all have just watched, and we look forward to sharing episode 16 with fans later this year as a special.
Well, I have to say that this has been an incredible season, and all the hats off to you, because even just the last 3 episodes have all felt like they could have been season finales. Like, so many epic things happened, so many reveals, the story has been pushed forward in such amazing ways. What can you tell us about what happens when it continues?
Yeah, when we continue, as everybody just saw from the sneak preview, Maggie's back, and she now knows what's happened to everyone based on that letter she got, when Carol left her a note when she was kind of traveling up and down the coast before the first episode. So we will find out what that means for our people. And also our heroes had this kind of clever hideout away from their communities, but they've been discovered, so that puts them on a collision course with the Whisperer Horde, which they've been trying to avoid tangling with too much. And we'll see Beta, and, he's hell-bent on revenge after the murder of Alpha. We'll see where Daryl and Negan are at, and Lydia and Carol and their relationships, and how things between these different pairings might come to a head. And we will see more from this mysterious person in the iron mask with the comma weapons that came upon Alden and Aaron in the sneak peek.
Excellent. Angela, thank you so much for calling in. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you for looking out for everyone on the production and helping to flatten the curve. I know it's difficult, and I know it's a bit of a sacrifice, but this is what we got to do now, and this has been an incredible season. So thank you so much for everything, and we look forward to seeing what's next.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thanks for everything. And, all of you, please stay safe. I hope everyone out there is staying safe too, flatten that curve, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks. Angela
Take
Kang,
care, Angela.
everyone, calling into the show.
Thank you.
And that's going to do it for us. Khary, Josh, Paola, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for this fantastic episode. And, I'm just sending you all virtual hugs. I miss y'all, and I can't wait to see you IRL sometime. A huge round of home applause to Khary, Payton, Josh McDermitt, Paola Lázaro. Stick around for an encore of The Walking Dead, followed by an episode all new of Ride with Norman Reedus. And just stay tuned to social media for what's going to happen with Walking Dead and Talking Dead in the coming months. We will get through this, y'all, and we hope to see you very soon. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay home. Take care. Good night.